Good day, tamers. Welcome back to some more with me, Agiza Swiftly. Gonna do kind of a ban list issue episode with a market watch, kind of going into like what's going on around here. And as you may be aware, obviously content currently over here is a little bit more on the back burner for us, but we are trying to do some things where we have a little bit of time here and there. As you can see, probably behind me, kind of if we head that way. Building decks for some Swiftly, but we are still waiting for the majority of our BT17 cardboard, as it's currently stuck in a sorting office somewhat close to home compared to a lot of people who live miles away from the international sorting office. But hopefully should be here in the week, and then next week we should be able to get to use some BT17 gameplay with a couple of weeks left until EX7 turns up here, which I actually am looking forward to, playing some of those unusual decks people have been looking at, and not just those degenerate Shoto decks. So, if we transition over to the good stuff, hey look, I'm small again. Yeah, the ban list came out, we did a video the other day, and for the most part, I think we were sort of on the money what they wanted to do. I didn't really think Lou was going to get hit, no other reason than just because I didn't think he really needed it, because obviously you kind of pair him with the Ukamons as that strategy, but now having him as one of, I think the issue you do have now is that people who were like, I don't have space for XYZ tamers, now have space for that extra tamer, as well as a few other things going on. But no, I think Lou is a good hit as well. Promo Ukamon I kind of expected, because they were trying to obviously fish for the alternate art mid-rarity in the event pack, not the event packs, the regional packs. Numon X, I'm pretty sure this is the only one really said that needs a hit. A lot of people ask about Monsmon X. I do agree Monsmon X is a very powerful card, but the issue people were having with the deck was more a case of the deck just didn't stay down unless you basically continuously just nuke the life out of it, which some decks could do, not all decks could. Hammerspark, I didn't see this coming from what I've seen though. This is more around Japan-centric metas, because apparently Ancient Grumman was playing like 4 of it, and there's some other looping decks that have now come out even more since then. They are playing 4 of it, which makes more sense now. The list that I was seeing winning, but a lot of it was like local event sort of things, was only allowing me to run like 2 Hammersparks. So for me it seems very strange, but apparently a lot of people were running 3 to 4 of. But now they can just shift over to Gravity if they are running the red base, or they can shift over to Blinding Ray if they're not really concerned about losing their security. So those are the plays here. TK, good riddance, you little rat. I'm happy he's gone, because he just needs to get the hell out. Awakening, I'm kind of surprised. We did sort of mention this, that he could be banned or limited, and I was like going to be like, no, I think it'd be okay. It is really more of a limit for the going from Rapid into Magna X antibody more than it is for anything else, because you can still just digivolve from a level 4 Vmon armor to a Magnamon X, but I did say maybe a short restriction could be something in the future where you can only go from a Magna to a Magna, or a Vmon based armor form into a Magna X, or whatever they wanted to do. Obviously that's not really what you need to do, but obviously it was something you could do, and that just seems really strange, but I'm happy they have done something with this, so you know, it's pretty good. And then he came back. I did say I think this one could come back, and I thought maybe Gabo X could come back, because he's not as strong as people think he's ready. Like, he's a good card, don't get me wrong, he's a good card, but I don't think he's like as broken or as very decently busted as maybe Grumon X is from EX5. But I'm glad he's back, because he did nothing wrong. He was just a casualty of war, and I'm glad you had some time on the bench and you feel better now, Gabamon, so come back over. But we are going to look at some of the stuff that may or may not have been affected by the market as of the ban list restrictions happening now. And I quite like some of these things. So we're going to have a quick look at the rare one. The few promos we're going to look at here, some of these are going to be because of the ban list, some of these are going to be because of not the ban list. Raremon specifically is going down in price because it's literally a week away. Well, we're recording this yesterday, so Sunday. So a week yesterday, I believe. Brain, come on. It will be the first official event of the Wave 3 Regionals, and Mr. Raremon there is in the Wave 3 Regional packet. So there will be more of these shooting up on the marketplace, making it ever so easy to get hold of in comparison. I do see the price of these basically plummeting down to at least £10 in the coming weeks. As far as I'm aware, France still has some places open, but it is an in-person event, so this could be the reason why you aren't seeing it fully sold out. Not necessarily because it's terrible, but more the fact like travelling at this time of year is also very awkward. School starts for a lot of people. You don't really want to be going to a different country on a Sunday and then having to get back on the same day, trying to get into university on the Monday. Same with like regular school for, you know, other people, parents, because I'd be surprised, a lot of people who play Digimon over here in Europe are actually parents. me included. Occasionally I do play. But I do see this card going down quicker and quicker over time, as we do see something happening with this in the near future. But yeah, prices have started to come down. This range over the last week has started to just trickle down over. But as you can see, prices have come down considerably in the last few days. Digimon also in the same sort of situation here. Obviously, he's very good in his own deck, kind of becoming more of a suitable Digimon in his own right, in his own deck, as you may have seen a few regional tops, as well as a win for the Aragna line. Again, coming down in price because we know this is going to be in the participation stuff, and it's very strange, obviously, to keep a high price when it's just going to start flooding the market very soon. I'll be looking for my copies for at least a $5, as I do think that'll be the price it goes back down to, as it was originally at one point, it was ages ago, down at like £4 a copy, and I was like, no, it'll come down to like £2. I'll pick them up when they're super cheap, and then it never happened. But it might be happening soon, because in the next couple of months, you're going to get like 300 or 400 of these flooding the market, and they're going to go down in price, and you're going to be so happy to have them, because I'm going to be so happy to have them. Digimon here isn't really being affected by anything right now. The water deck is really good if you want to play the variant that I like playing, which is the things like the BT8 top end, BT9 top end into like the new stuff. It seems really interesting. If you are interested in that, obviously go look at the Swiftly vs Swiftly episode the other week we did with the, I think it was Truby versus sea animals, and yeah, you can put a couple of these in there, and like you just have like a deck that just goes like turn 3, right, spread out like 4 different creatures from your body, and just swing for game, because it is crazy. Protomon, this is really annoying for me personally speaking. There was actually a few more of these actually for sale earlier in the day, where they have gone. As you may have noticed, I can't find the message now from Bandai. I don't know if they deleted it because they just decided, oh, we already have enough bad press in Europe, we don't really need more. But they did essentially turn around and say that Gamescom wasn't having these promos, and it was a misspeaking, which is very strange because it was on your website for like 4 months that you were doing this. Was it from like end of May or beginning of June? So at least 2 to 3 months, saying that you were going to be at Gamescom, and it just so turns out that you just decided not to turn up because you did the same thing I think at Anime Expo, didn't you? Or you didn't turn up to like day 3, wherever it was. So Bandai apparently is just bad at promos releasing, which is not unfair to say. I do think anyone who's played any of the other card games would say that Bandai is just very bad at promos. The annoying thing for this is you actually do want to play some of these in your deck. So if you weren't in America at the time of the finals, which funny enough Europeans weren't, although a couple were because it was an open finals, and you haven't had access to this card because it's kind of hard to get hold of, they have said it will be at the in-person event at the Netherlands, not the finals, the regional that's happening I believe in November. So yeah, good chance you can grab these. If this was like £30 sealed, I'd be like, sorry, I'd grab 4 of them. But for this price, you are basically shooting in the leg for no reason, you mean people. But yeah, because you do need to actually play some of these cards, and the promos are actually based on the deck, I do hope that Bandai does the right thing and says, hey, look, we will be printing some of these extras to go with the decks on release. So if you buy like 2 decks, you get one of these free or something like that. They need to do something for good faith, because I want EX7 to be a really good jumping in point for new players. And if it's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's the deck, but if you want to play it properly, you need to buy the promos. And the promos are basically 3 times the price of the deck. So if we have a look at the promo prices currently, they are, yeah, super expensive. This is not how you get new players into the game at a point where I say it's like new player friendly, because you're making it unfriendly. That being said though, let's jump into Shumon. Oh look, same kind of issue. Only one for sale, and it's £105. There was a few of these actually available earlier in the day, like £50 each, but again, it's incredibly saddening. And again, you kind of want to play a few of these in the deck if you're playing it. But for difference though, shoe money is a lot cheaper to pick up. There's not many on the market, so if you are in the market to get yourself some new shoes, pick it up now. Shine Greymon has decided to slowly come down in price. Last time I looked at this, around about the end of BT15, early BT16, it was around about the £70 mark. Has slowly come down since then, as you can see. During my birthday, during the July time period, as well as now, because people are still looking forward to the ban list, as well as changing deck styles, because not everyone wants to play new month for 6 months straight. They have obviously started to sell their stuff off. Obviously, with also knowing that we're going to get the alternate art in LM4, or whatever we're going to call over here in the English-speaking side of the card game. coming in December. Unfortunately, not going to be great for us over here in Europe because our finals will be the week probably before or before it's legalized, unless they start at the event. And chaos will ensue because chaos always likes to ensue around new things. I am chaos. But prices coming down. I expect to see this coming down probably more to around about £30 mark or £35 mark, whatever the price of the new LM set is going to cost. And then the alternate art will probably be somewhere between this one and the alternate art when it does come through. Just for the sake of it, we'll look at the alternate art, and you can see it is still sort of hitting around that £70 mark. It is more of a case of, if you want something pretty, it's here. It is a very pretty card in my opinion, but I do think that people will be moving forwards in the future to something a little bit different to their own tastes. Defex, on the other hand, though, is actually cheaper than its pre-release prices for the first time, I feel like, ever. Yeah, we are seeing sales here around about the £25 marks. Again, this is also coming in the EP7 set that starts as of Sunday of this coming week. I am happy to see the prices come down, as I only own the one copy of Defex. I would quite like to pick up a few extra copies of Defex, so our Swiftly vs Swiftly games can become more menacing for you guys. Again, I'd like to see this come down in price. I think the alternate art will probably be the same sort of price as the base rarity. I don't really see it picking up prices compared to the actual alternate art here, although the alternate art is sort of sticking around the same price mark. What happened here? The hell happened? That's what happened here. But as you can see here, the prices have started to come down, and it's really interesting to see that these are also coming down to prices where they were for pre-release, which is fun, if not a little bit interesting to see. But I am happy that Defex price is starting to settle. I'm happy if it comes down to be like a £15 to £20 secret rare, and if you want to get yourself a playset or they're that cheap, I would recommend doing so, because once they're gone, they're gone. Because even though there are quite a lot of these on the market, you do kind of have to still pick these up to use them in games. And I do see a lot more people using 2 Defexes in decks now, as opposed to just the singular menacing one. Going over now to Agent Grumon, it has started to come down in price since the hit on the Hammer Sparks. I do think people are worried now this should have been the best deck in the format, but unfortunately taking that shot to the leg has crippled it a bit more than people wanted to. Again, you can play multiple versions of this. You can play the red base, you can play the blue base, and you can play the black base apparently, which isn't a deck that I've been looking into, but it could be a deck that you could be looking into in the near future. Paladin mode here has started to go back up in price here. When it came out, it was around about the £15 mark, and then went down to the 8, and has slowly started to come off the market as is. This will be going up over time as Paladin mode slash Imperial Dramon decks do seem to be the best currently in the format, outside of possibly varials that could come with like Fenrir or Omnimon, now that the power level of those other 2 decks that were sort of like holding the fort has come down considerably. Looking at you, Mr. Numon X. Fenrir promo here, also very expensive. You do need to run at least 2 of these in the deck. Some people say 3, some people say 4. I would like to try on that different variants. Unfortunately, having to spend lots of money to get these into the country is ridiculous. I think if I was to buy this one from Foxy here, no offense to Foxy, it would cost me over £40 because of the tracking on the shipment is ridiculously expensive. So for those of you who are in Europe, pick up your copies where you can. I do recommend it. Obviously, shipping could be the variant here. If you can find it in your own country for maybe a little bit more than what's currently listed down here, probably pick it up to save you some postage costs. Otherwise, very good card, very interesting. Can trigger your Omnimon's Digivolving effect, all turns effect here, by just basically playing the game your way. And I think that is going to be something that's very interesting for a lot of people going forwards. But yeah, maybe make Magna great again. Truby has a weird buyout going on currently. I know this was getting used in Newmont towards the end of the EX6 slash beginning of BT17 era, because they like the idea of having more bodies on the field, which I don't blame them for. You might as well get more bodies on the field, as it lets you play out a level 4 or lower yellow or green Digimon, which in this case would be a Newmon in most cases. Unfortunately not for those pure black ones, but for those yellow ones it's pretty good to get them out there early and then start digivolving up into Newmons, and we're getting more players going forwards and faster. Again, sort of coming off the marketplace, if you are in need of these, maybe ask friends in your local scene if they have anything for trade, or if there's something that they want to sell for you for maybe a little bit cheaper than what's going on here. But unfortunately the price of the aces have started to go up in price. Looking at anything else from this set though, it's currently sort of sitting in its own sort of juices. The alternate art for the 7 Great Needles are sort of stagnated into its own point, as well as some of these other cards here are just sitting here happy, ready to go. But if you do look at the alternate art hasn't really changed its position here since the first initial starts, so I think it is just sort of buyouts or selling out of the base rarities of the aces. And then if you look at the alternate arts, If you look at the SP rarity here, as you can see, it is sort of sitting around the prices that it has always been. So I don't necessarily think it's a truly a specific buyout, but maybe just a base rarity buyout. That being said, if you know what this is being used in, let me know. I'm looking forward to using this in something like Cinderella as more of a getting Chessmon out to just be a nuisance to my opponents, but I do like the idea of this deck being quite amusing for my own amusement. Digimon Emperor, starting to come up in price again. If you've been noticing the price of these sticking around about the £2 mark right now, it's a very good rare. It's a very good rare from an old set. We do actually have a full art here, which is currently going for around about £27 currently last time I checked, as well as the pre-released version of it if you want the stamp on it. So there are more versions to get hold of. As you can see here, there is quite a few in the £3 mark still before you start getting over it, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But at the same time, do pick up your playsets where you can. A 2 hours journey, what you want to run in most decks, but occasionally I can see that third copy coming up and being a big hit against your opponent, because unfortunately, if this is down, that breeding area is unfortunately not safe for them. Ukamon from BT16 now is starting to sort of sit around about prices again. It was heading up towards the £2 mark. It has now come down to the £1 or lower mark again, but then going back up again over time. I don't really understand why this had like a half price drop when we got the ban list, because it's still pretty good, still using those decks that want to use it. That hasn't changed too much. You still can run 5 Ukamons, so if someone knows why the people decided to drop it off the face of the earth, let me know. It seems very strange that Ukamon has decided to fly away in the spaceship size head he has. Dramon here, probably being part of the best deck in the format now, if not one of the top 2, or maybe even top 3. Currently sitting around that mark where it is slowly getting bought out off of card market. There are quite a few here still available, looking at the £37 mark, but that is, sorry, 37 total mark, but at the same time, you do want to place a set of 4 of these, and that is less than 10 playsets available currently on market, and then you'll be having an issue like in the Americas, where they are spending like £40 plus on a single copy of this. If we go and have a look at the alternate art though, that price point hasn't really changed since the card's release, so you are sort of looking at the price point that it's always been, which is like the £30 to £35 mark. Don't look at that one. £30 to £35 mark since it's come out, so it is sitting in that nice sort of lulling stage, but at the same time, you know, get your copies where you can, because if this is one of the best decks in the meta, if not the best deck in the meta, you're going to be really upset when you are paying £25 plus per copy of this card. Agnemon X, on the other hand, though, is slowly coming down in price. It has been coming down since BT16's full release here in the UK. Unfortunately, for those of you who've been hoping these are going to go up in stonky prices with the Hitsu Awakening, it hasn't really killed the deck as much as people thought it might have done. It obviously is just less of a very useful card, especially against the yellow menace that is currently out there in the world. But at the same time, very interesting deck, very good deck still. It still does what it wants to do, still does a lot of hitting hard and punching swiftly, but a lot of people are concerned that this deck may or may not have been tackled too soon. That being said, though, prices are looking good. If you are in the market to pick up your playsets of these now that they've come down in price, you are probably still looking around £100 for a playset with postage, but that's still a fairly good price for one of the best decks in the game right now. And then finally, we are looking at a Valkyriemon from BT16. BT16 end here. Some of these decks obviously were more impactful going on, and to be fair, the price of these haven't really shifted since. I know at one point they were down to like, I think like $350, but they've all been bought off the market. But again, these are some very good prices. Amazing card, a very generic red and yellow card here for the ace structure. If you are in the market to pick up your cards, I would consider grabbing some of this where you can. If not, though, don't worry, as we'll be getting some cooler aces in the future. Although we might have to wait until the new year for some of those cooler ones. Something I did pick up in my sites before. I know I mentioned picking up these in the past, but someone reminded me how expensive they were now. That these actually are coming up in price, but a lot of people from the UK are selling those. So if you're in the UK, you are watching this, you need to pick up your copies. I would recommend picking up the UK copies, as they're actually some of the cheapest for a change. But at the same time, very good card. Obviously, didn't get hit on the ban list, didn't get hit limited. Pick up 2 if you need them. It's very rare that you want to play more than 2 in most decks. Sometimes you'll play a third, but again, a great card. Pick it up where you can. Currently sitting at around about the £12 mark, really, and then after postage maybe 15. But again, pick up your copies if you haven't already. And then something else that someone reminded me of, which I thought was really strange, was this. This card was, as far as I'm aware, was always super cheap and was only sort of slightly picking up traction. Yeah, it's slowly picking up traction again to around about the 13 mark, and then slowly going off the market. Again, still essentially the best deck in the game right now. Didn't get hit on the ban list at all, which I'm surprised by. So if you are a big fan of playing Mirage or some variant Mirage, because there's like 3 different variants going around right now that are all doing really, really well. Pick up this deck. It's possibly actually the best deck in the game now, with Imperial and Armor looking at it like, I don't know what happened, but yeah, sure. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you for being here. I know it was a bit of a longer one, but we haven't really done Market Watch for a bit, and we don't tend to do them too often over here, as it's more of a afterthought about what's going on in the game. If you like the overlays, let me know. I did do a little bit of work on these, and I thought they were quite interesting. But ciao for now. Mwah. And if you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new here, because we do try and make content as often as we can. We'll see you guys soon for more Agito and the Swifties. Goodbye for now.